Hey everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Samurai Gunn. Now, odds are, Samurai Gunn has been kind of a flavor of the week, at least on social media and, of course, across Steam this month. And I don't mean that in a derisive way. People often say, like, oh, flavor of the week, it's gonna, evaporate and its staying power is only temporary. I don't mean it like that. It's just an easy way to describe what's happening. And it's a lot of people are talking about this game. It just came out on Steam. It was a huge hit when I played it at PAX Prime. It was one of Josh and Kate and I's favorite games of PAX Prime for sure. What is it? Imagine kind of like Towerfall or kind of like a Super Smash Brothers type game. But this time, instead of, shooting arrows or having all these Nintendo characters, you have a katana and a gun, and then you duke it out. It's kind of like Spelunky Deathmatch mode, basically. Just came out on Steam, 15 bucks, local multiplayer focused, no online multiplayer, which is obviously, as with something like Megabyte Punch, the biggest detriment to what we've got going on here. But there is a survival mode, and the local multiplayer is, of course, the focus, which is unfortunate because I won't be able to show it off. But anyway, we're going to play a little bit of the survival mode here. So the basic way that this works, not too much fluff to cut through here in order to get to kind of what the soul of the game is. There are, there's the potential for 4 people to play here, but when you play the survival mode, it is basically you against the AI, an ever-increasing number of armies for you to cut through, and we're going to start on just a very, very basic level here. As you can see, game looks really nice. It's got this, like, good retro feel to it, but not retro in kind of like a derisive way. Again, oh my god, I got cut up like everybody in Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill. Anyway, let's talk about what we've got going on here. Basically, only 2 attacks. We have the ability to use our katana, as you have seen, and we can slash in multiple directions. And what's important is that this actually does convey a little bit of a movement to us, if that makes sense. So if we're jumping and we do like a slash upwards, that carries us up forward. Not as if we had a double jump, but as if we got kind of like a, Luigi-style extra jump versus Mario or something. As you can now see, you can also, shoot your gun, and the gun will kill you. And the real cool thing that happens here, and I probably will, I'll do my best to show it off, but in all likelihood the AI is going to be the one that ends up doing it to me instead. Hey, there we go. The crux of the game, well, not crux of the game, but one of the coolest features of the game is that, in order to counter the katana swing, you can swing in exactly the opposite direction at exactly the same time, and they'll just kind of bounce off one another. And in order to counter the gunshot, and I think I may have actually done it right there, if you swing, there you go, if you swing the sword directly at the bullet with pretty good timing, you will actually bounce it back in the direction that it came from, and that is how a large amount of the kills in Samurai Gunn actually end up happening. So the way that survival mode actually ends up working is that, that was pretty easy. Obviously, it's going to get increasingly difficult as time goes on, but more and more enemies are going to spawn. I think we start with the same amount of lives every single time. We can see with our with the kind of the end of game splash here how many kills we got and how many deaths we incurred as well. Let's move on to level 2, and you'll get a feel for it. By the way, this is one of the more, pardon me, basic map types. We'll see some ones that are a little bit more, I don't know why I'm just so OCD about breaking all that bamboo. Got me killed for sure there. But you'll see as we kind of move forward how the levels differ a little bit. Pardon me, still a little bit under the weather. And how there's actually some different mechanics going on here. So this is like a basic level. The only real novelty, I guess, in this one is that you can actually fall through the ground and come out through the ceiling. Again, it's got more than just a superficial similarity to Towerfall, which is not to say that, either, Matt or Bo took either of these games from one another, or the ideas for either of these games from one another. But the games definitely do have more than just they have a meaningful similarity between them that is not simply glossed over. Which is not a bad thing. Both of them are very, very good games, obviously. There we go. Yeah, we'll encounter levels that also have some spikes and, moving platforms and stuff like, why did I thought I could fall through there and then ricochet the bullet down. Oh, there's an example of us kind of parrying one another there. The AI, it varies. On a level like this, I wonder if I could have killed myself with my own bullet. I actually don't know. It varies. Actually, there are spikes on this level. I got my ass kicked. Let's try that one again. On this level, it seems to be pretty good, but on levels where there's like big spike pits at the bottom, oftentimes if I just kind of hang out near the top of the level, the AI will just constantly throw itself to its death. It might not seem like level 2 was very different from level 1, but that's simply because I didn't survive very long. The longer we survive, and you can see how many kills we need to get, by the way, by those skulls at the bottom. Okay, that was kind of close. You can see how many kills we need to get by these skulls down at the bottom there. Oh. Come on, there we go. So if we get like another 7, 8 kills, then we'll win. So we need to get 10 and only die 5 times. So this is why the game gets increasingly difficult as time goes on. And it's interesting because, you know, you have to maintain this kind of like 2-1 kill death ratio at least, and it just gets harder as time goes on, as you might expect. But it's difficult because you're not just, like, these enemies that you're fighting are not just cannon fodder. Oh, that was, see, like, they parried that bullet there that I thought was really good. They do also kill each other, though, which makes it a little easier on me. Yeah, but they're not just cannon fodder. The AI usually performs pretty admirably, making it a very real challenge to actually succeed all the way through a lot of these survival modes. There's 5 levels, I believe, and I've never actually beaten all 5 levels. I've gotten as far as the 5th one once. So we won there because he killed his teammate. And you know what I like about the survival mode is that it's not just like 1v1, like you versus the AI. It does, because the game, at least from what we played at PAX, which was honestly probably like approaching an hour over the course of that weekend, because we kept lining up for it again and again. The main fun of the game, the main enjoyment that I got from it there was not like 1 versus 1 stuff, like you see for the early parts of these challenges, but actually like 4-player kind of chaotic multiplayer. So what's good about the, I should have been killed there probably. What's good about the survival mode is that it, you know, it seems to take that into account, and you actually end up, there we go. After a while, you know, it starts 1v1, and then it'll go 1v2, and then it'll go, you know, 1v3, and possibly even more than that once you get to the 5th level, so now we're at 1v2. I am getting extremely lucky here to not get killed more often. Oh, come on. I really thought I would at least hit him with the bullet there. As you can see, I had like a really crazy good run at the start of this, and now I still have to get like 9 kills maybe. Oh, I got both of them there, so that's lucky me. Yeah, I still have to get like another 6 kills now, or 7 kills, just to actually succeed. And this is only level 3, so it only gets harder from here, and if I die one more time, that'll be it. So, you know, if I do die one more time, we will check out another level. That was a good shot, so I gotta get 5 more without dying. Against 3 opponents. It's not outside of the realm of possibility. Again, the AI does end up killing itself fairly frequently, which is not, again, different than the actual multiplayer experience of the game as well. Accidents happen. Oh, come on. That bullet would have hit him and I would have won. In any case, sure, that's going to do it for Forest. So that's the basic gameplay of Samurai Gunn, and you know what? That's the gameplay that you're going to see for this entire video, so for a lot of you, you've probably seen all you need to see. Well, fuck me, I guess 13 and 4 wasn't good enough. Like a 3.33 kill death ratio, but anyway, we can choose new characters. As far as I know, you know, the characters don't have any differential abilities between them, which is good because it keeps things keeps things balanced, of course. But we'll take Splinter here. And of course we have like 8 seconds for people to jump in so we can show off our abilities, we can shoot our gun. I should have mentioned, by the way, you only get 3 bullets with which to shoot your gun with. Okay, so instead of going to Fortress, why don't we go someplace else? So you can see there's, sorry, instead of going to Forest, why don't we go someplace else? So there's Fortress. This is kind of like a more man-made structure that also usually has a lot of pitfalls, so like moving platforms that can crush you or spikes underneath you, as you can see by basically all of these. The cemetery has these like weird green moss clumps or clouds, and you can get stuck in those, which you can use to your strategic advantage or disadvantage. Mountain, you know, slippery. And then we go back to the forest. So, let me show you an example of something that I don't necessarily think is the game's strong suit. And we'll play Clamp here. This is the first level that I ever played on Fortress. And we'll try to beat the AI. And I hope I don't end up eating my words here, but I imagine it's going to be easier for us to beat the AI now than it was when we were on Forest. Because I have found that the AI often falls down a lot and just falls onto the spikes. At least, you know, the couple of times that I played this map through. Okay, there we go. The couple of times that I played this map through by myself, this is basically what happened. So we'll just see if, well, okay. This is making it a little easy to just cheese the AI. And again, you know, it's not, I'm not showing this off just to be an asshole and to be like, look at how smart I am. Like, I can figure out how to exploit the AI like this. I'm showing this off because, you know, this is a game where the local multiplayer is a focus, but it's considered a selling point that it has, like, this single-player mode as well. So it's like, you know, you can have your cake and eat it, too. It's fun by yourself, but, you know, or it's most fun with other people, but it's also fun by yourself. And, you know, oh, God, I won, but I did get killed at the end. And to some extent, that's absolutely true. But it's really, really fun with other people, and again, it is local only, I have to stress that. And it's alright by yourself, is my experience so far. That's, again, nothing necessarily against the game, or against the developer either, because this is a game where I definitely feel like well, you know, this is not projecting, but me being a little bit presumptuous. But I'm assuming that it was developed with this kind of like local multiplayer thing in mind, and then as a selling point, they're like, okay, well, we should add in a single player mode because not everybody, you know, lives in a house with their friends and, you know, siblings where they can actually play this. So, and you know, not everybody who does live in that situation has enough, you know, PC controllers to actually get 4 people playing the game at the same time. If you do, by the way, this is a no-brainer pickup. If you have the capability and the infrastructure, both, you know, in terms of individuals and the people that live in your house, or, you know, domicile of choice, and you have the controllers and technology necessary, pick it up. It's, like, well worth it, absolutely. You could end up playing this maybe as much as you would play something like Super Smash Bros. On the N64, GameCube, Wii, etc., etc. And, you know, the same goes for Towerfall when that actually comes out as well. If you have the capabilities to really experience the games as they were meant to be experienced, by all means, 100% pick them up. It's a no-brainer. They actually beat me on that level because I'm a piece of garbage, apparently. But I'm kind of looking at this from the perspective of someone who's like, you know, this sounds like I mean this derisively. I'm an adult who does not live with his friends anymore, you know, except, of course, my girlfriend, because she's my best friend, right? But I don't have the capability to play local multiplayer games very often. If I do, and it's only 2-player. We don't have like a 3-player type situation going on. This is much more of like a 3 or 4-player situation going on. This is much more of something that I would see myself playing at like a convention, or like if we're at PAX, someone brings like a laptop or something, and 4 of us could play it while we're in the hotel room or something like that. And that's cool. You know, I'm glad that there's a place for games like this. However, for the kind of person that's in a situation like me, is this an essential purchase at $15 if you don't have the capabilities to experience local multiplayer? Probably not, no. That's not to say I'm not having fun with a single-player mode, because I am. The main strength of the game is that, well, A, I think it looks beautiful despite its minimalism, which I don't even think I need to say despite there. And it's a joy to play from kind of like an audio-visual standpoint. But also, the control is super tight and kind of unique as well. Like, this doesn't necessarily feel like any other games. Your characters have real weight to them, and the momentum that you get from your sword swings, and you also, I believe you get like some kickback from your gun as well. We can try that out, I guess. It makes a meaningful difference in your strategy. Yeah, it gives you a little kickback. It makes a meaningful difference in your strategy. Like, sometimes it can make the difference between, like, making a platform with wall jumping and not having to wall jump, which can actually, you know, considering you can die in the blink of an eye, it makes a meaningful difference more times than you would probably think. That being said, just kind of on merit, good game, absolutely. However, it is lacking from a single-player perspective, and I don't think anyone's going to damn me for saying that. And that's not to say you won't necessarily have $15 worth of fun with it as a single-player person here, but it's much less likely that you will, as opposed to the near guarantee that you would get your money's worth if you had the, again, capabilities to play this consistently in like a local multiplayer context. It's kind of a weird thing for me to say, right? Because it reminds me in some ways of like board games. Because, you know, when people like review board games, or they're thinking about buying a board game, nobody thinks like, what are the single player features of this board game, right? Like, how many times do you play Monopoly by yourself? But people are okay buying Monopoly, and then you play it maybe once a year, once every 6 months with your family, and then, you know, whether you end up hating each other afterwards or not, that's considered like an okay value proposition. In some ways, I kind of feel bad for saying that this is not a good single-player proposition, but that's the way the video games are, is that, you know, not everybody's going to want to play the multiplayer. Some people are just going to want to play single-player. But I almost consider this more of like a purchasing decision akin to a board game, where it's like, are there experiences where, you know, you're going to play this with your friends a couple of times over the course of your lifespan with the game? Then maybe it's worth the $15. A lot of you are probably going to think that I'm making excuses for the game just by saying that, but I'm not. It's a good game. I'm just offering some kind of, perhaps, perspective as to why you might want to pick it up. But if you don't have those situations, you know, it's a toss-up. I probably would think that for $15 you can get more gameplay and perhaps even more valuable gameplay elsewhere from a single-player perspective. Anyway, I'm just trying to, because I've been reconciling myself with this over the course of this year, because this year is really, there's been a lot of stories and narratives in indie this year, of course, and one of them has been, you know, local multiplayer, and specifically local multiplayer only. And I understand that this is, I shouldn't be presumptuous again, but I think it's a reaction to like, oh, you know, these games have like so many online features, but I miss the days when I was like a kid and I could just plug in the controller with my brother and, you know, play the game, and that's cool, totally cool, nothing wrong with that. But from my perspective, based on my living situation, you know, the Spelunky comes out on PC, no online co-op. Towerfall is coming to PC, no online multiplayer. And now Samurai Gun's out, no online multiplayer. Of course, we've got other titles like Megabyte Punch and, you know, a lot of titles, actually. And I've been struggling with this because I'm like, if they would just put online multiplayer in the game, it would be so much easier to recommend. People would spend, you know, hundreds of hours of this. More people would spend hundreds of hours of this, I guess I should say, like just killing time online, and it would be a whole lot of fun. But you know, I guess maybe I am starting to think of these more as kind of like board game purchases, if that makes sense. Like purchases that are only really shine to their fullest under certain situations when you have a certain number of people. Maybe you're at a family gathering or something like that. I guess it's a little different because, you know, I guess most people probably don't live in a situation where they would play this with their family. Maybe that's presumptuous as well. Anyway, I didn't mean for this Samurai Gunn video to become this kind of like insight into my thoughts on how to judge or critique, to whatever extent that I do, a local multiplayer only title. But that's kind of what it's become, because, you know, I feel like that's a criticism that's come up a lot this year, is, you know, if it had only had online multiplayer, it would be better. Would Samurai Gunn be objectively better with online multiplayer? Yeah, assuming it worked, I guess. But that doesn't necessarily mean this is a staggering missed opportunity. Maybe there's something I'm missing, if that makes sense. Anyway, oh, I have been killed again. Let's do one more run here. You know, there's not much more to show off with respect to Samurai Gunn here. I think I've said my piece on it, both positively and negatively. I think it's a great game. I think I feel bad for myself not being in the ideal situation to play this. If this had come out in like 2008, when I lived in when I was in university and I lived in a house with 6 of my friends, so I would have spent like days of my life with this. But now, you know, I was born in the wrong era slightly. If only I was a true 90s kid. I was born in like 1992 or something like that. I think I'd get a ton of value out of this. As is right now, it's unfortunate that my experience with Samurai Gunn is probably going to be limited to, you know, conventions and, you know, group gatherings and stuff like that, which happen increasingly infrequently. But still, you know, it's a fun game. And this has now become like Ryan's like sad what has become of my life, and I don't mean it like that at all. And I'm very happy with the place in my life is at. I'm just saying, oh, if I was only a few years younger or in a different place in my life, the hours that I could get out of Samurai Gunn. And if you are in one of those positions, you really shouldn't think twice about purchasing this, especially, right? You're in like a local multiplayer situation. Get everyone to throw in $3, man. There you go. You got basically your $15 more or less right there. Well, you got $12, which is what it's on sale for its opening week sale anyway. All right. So we are gonna just try to succeed here. This is the 3rd level of this survival mode. I will say, I do find it kind of easy to cheese the AI sometimes. If you stand below them, it can often be easy. I don't know if there's some kind of like priority thing going on here, but it can often be pretty easy to just slash them upwards, and, you know, vice versa. If you're standing below them, you can, or if you're standing above them, you can usually slash them downwards. But still, you know, despite that good run, game's challenging. There's a lot of replay value involved in these survival modes. Oh no! Okay, I jumped over it. Thank God there was slow-mo there. Oh, and we got like 4 people on the screen right now. I've only got to get 3 more kills. I'm down here. Okay, that was a very good block. Come on down. 2 more kills against 3 people. We can do it. We can't do it. I'll just admit we can't do it. All right, well, in any case, this is Samurai Gunn. There will be a link in the video description to pick it up on Steam. Again, I think I've done an adequate job, an honest job of explaining how I feel about this game. Very, very good from a local multiplayer standpoint if you have people to play it with. No online multiplayer is a shame for me personally. Maybe you don't feel that way. Maybe you do. Maybe you feel more strongly about it than I do. Single player standpoint, it lacks relative to its multiplayer counterpart. That being said, you may still get some enjoyment out of it. Will you get $12 to $15 out of enjoyment, which is its opening week sale price, followed by its regular retail price? Debatable, and I would say for most people, probably not. Maybe if you're picking this up for single player only, wait for a sale that might come a little bit later in the year. But that being said, Samurai Gunn is an absolutely great experience if you have the capabilities of local multiplayer, at least assuming that the multiplayer still functions as well as it functioned when we stood in line for it more than any other game at PAX Prime 2013. As always, again, link in the video description to pick up Samurai Gunn over on Steam. As always, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to click the like button. It does support us a great deal. And of course, subscribe if you want to see more first impressions of games like this in the future. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.